tonight I accidentally
lost your keys.
Well,
And
that and the phone. And then I realized an hour before that I hadn't done the notes for It's a Wonderful Life. And then I was like, ah! And so I started
Turkey,
everything.
notes, all of it. Yeah.
Dude, it was just insane tonight.
Yeah,
So
fancy. We're fancy. Come on, Chelsea.
I mean, you can be chill. Ben got an Iron Man helmet, has the Power Stone in it right now. They have all the
Infinity Stones.
Yeah, but they have the things that contained him. So he has the Tesseract, he has the ball from Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's
he has, what's his name's hammer from, no.
The scepter?
No, the hammer that holds the Power Stone.
Oh, yeah. The
from
Ronan the Accuser.
Ronan's. He has Loki's staff.
Scepter.
He has the Time Stone necklace.
Eye of Agamemnon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then,
The
so this
soul.
time.
What do you do for soul?
So there is nothing that holds a soul. So you have to buy the gauntlet that has all the stones in it. But here's the deal. This is how far Disney has thought ahead with these products, is that if you take the Tesseract and you take the stone out of it and you put the yellow stone in it, the Tesseract becomes yellow. And so this helmet comes with a Power Stone in it, which I don't know how that's canon at all.
It's not.
It's not. But if you put the yellow stone or the red stone in it, it all becomes red, yellow, purple. And so they've thought, I don't know how they've thought that through. Yeah, he bought this, and that is automatic.
Yeah. Lick.
And then it has the voice that is not Tony Stark.
Of course not.
And I said, you easily could have got Jarvis, you know.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but it didn't fit him when he puts it on. It like goes down. I was like, let me see that. And I put it on. I was like, that's perfect.
It's mine now.
Yeah.
Come get it when you're an adult.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Movies with Chill podcast.
I don't think you're on.
Your microphone's not on. There it is.
Come on, Charles. You got the earpod.
You got the ear what?
Earpud.
What's an earpud?
Not the earpods, but
Earpud.
That sounds fun.
I want an earpud.
earpuddies. You know.
Earpud. See,
Poor
Chelsea
Calvin.
agrees
We just
with
mess
me.
with him the
It is
entire
time
time.
for bed.
It is night time.
Well, now we have turkey and mashed potatoes and
healthy,
green, all
healthy
of
dose of tryptophan.
Yeah.
14 sticks of butter apiece and all of that.
Right. Well, welcome to the Movies with Chill podcast. I'm your host, Chill. Tonight we'll be reviewing It's a Wonderful Life from 1946.
The year my dad was born.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a Wonderful Life is a dramatic fantasy film directed by Frank Capra and written by Frances Goodrich, Albert Hackett, and Frank Capra.
I love his mini strokes he has.
I know.
He does. It's always when he's reading.
Hi, Chelsea.
It's always when he's reading. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it in post.
Based on The Greatest Gift.
We fix everything in post.
Yep. We have a great editor.
Half the time it's just like he did the podcast by himself because
know.
I can hear him chop himself in.
Yeah.
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 Starring James Stewart, Donna Reed, Lionel Barrymore,
Stewart.
Thomas Mitchell,
Grandpa
and
Joseph.
Henry Travers.
James Stewart. It's Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy.
It's Jimmy.
I know his
always
name's James, but everyone knows Jimmy Stewart.
So
Right.
James Stewart. I love that so much.
that's what it says.
I know
all
it shouldn't be
the thing.
funny, but
Right.
it's funny.
Here's what's really messed up. When I watched the movie
Yeah.
the other night and it showed James
Stewart.
Stewart on the thing, I go, Calvin's going to to James.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
He's
really
going to call
funny.
him James.
That's
and
it.
everybody calls him James.
That's what he's listed as. You kind of sound like Jimmy Stewart.
I wish I had $1 million. Oh, yeah. Hot dog. So It's a Wonderful Life is the infamous story of George Bailey as he contemplates ending his life for insurance money before an angel named Clarence shows him a world without George Bailey.
Why the emphasis on Clarence?
Clarence.
Clarence.
Yeah.
I love that the description of the movie describes the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
That's it. That's what it describes.
Yeah. That was it. That was done.
As always, I'm joined by David and Lee. How you boys doing tonight?
Hey, what's up?
What's up,
Oi, boys.
Oi.
And ladies.
And as
No,
Not as
as
always.
not always.
Well, getting there with Annie.
Oh, now.
Getting there.
Oh!
Time.
You're one time away from having your 5-time
jacket.
I know, right?
In the first
I
2
know.
years.
I know.
Is it like SNL?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get like
I get
something
a jacket.
special.
Yeah.
You should get a
Jacket.
5-time jacket.
You're going to get her a jacket.
Yeah.
I'll make it myself.
Hey. And then third time for Chelsea.
Yay! Thank God it's not Strange Wilderness.
Yeah, right.
I'm so sad I missed that one.
I am
my
too.
gosh.
No,
He
you're
said, "Do you
not.
want to record your thoughts in?" I said, "No."
Not on that movie.
I'm good.
That's funny.
Oh my God.
Before we get into It's a Wonderful Life, have you guys watched anything new this week?
Started season 2 of Silo.
Hey.
Yep. Season 2 is.
So this is
intense.
Christmas. This is going to come out on Christmas. The Christmas
Well,
week.
I mean, it's still coming. It comes out every
week.
week. So
Wednesday, I think.
Friday. I know it's killing me, but I was afraid they were going to screw season 2 up because
Yeah.
season 1's so good,
Yeah.
and they have
They
not.
picked right up where they
Oh,
left
it's
off.
so
It's
good.
No.
So we've been watching Arcane.
One Piece.
Yeah. Chelsea's. What about you, Chelsea? What have you been watching since Strange Wilderness of spring of last year?
Well, I don't know about anything that I've been watching besides TikTok, but this Friday I'm gonna go see Wicked.
Ooh, I'm so excited to see it. So my friend Ashley has seen it twice, and she's like, it is just... And she's seen it
so
on
excited.
Broadway. She's seen it in Kansas City, and she was like, it is perfection.
I've heard raving reviews.
I like
for
the
it.
TikToks of the people who don't like musicals, and they come out and they're like, holy crap, what a great movie.
I'm so excited. I'm
exci-
pumped.
I am too.
I am pumped.
I don't think you can pump it enough. You know what I mean? Some people, and then you watch and you're like, yeah, it was okay. I think this one is going to be that good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm also excited because I know that just all the work that they've been putting into it.
Yeah.
And like, I have been trying to like read up because I didn't watch the Wicked Broadway musical. I didn't watch it.
I have no idea.
I didn't either.
I know,
And I
a
never
couple
read
of
the
songs.
books.
Yeah.
I knew 2 songs. So I've been trying to
Gravity
like
and-
educate myself on how this relates to The Wizard of
I did
Oz.
too. Had to like the
Have you seen the
diagram,
Yes.
Have you seen the
breakdown.
timeline?
I
Yeah,
did.
it's really good.
That's why I wanted to go see it because I was like, oh, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Like, I get it.
We're going to go.
Do it. Oh, whatever, One Piece.
Hey, as much
Get outta
anime
here.
as we have to do, come on.
No, I think
You guys
that it's
know
going to be
us.
phenomenal.
Oh,
And
I'm
I
so
love
ready.
that the little things they've added in that aren't in the musical. But so you haven't read the books. And I
No,
hear that
but
the
I
books
heard
are
that they are
very
so graphic.
very triggering.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, like essay.
They're
in it
not
and-
serious?
yeah.
kid books by
Not-
any means,
and
but then
they republished them and put the Wicked movie poster on it.
Oh.
And so people are going to buy that for their kids, and it
Yep.
is not a kid's book.
it's not.
It's like very smutty.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't know. And there are 3 of them,
I can't wait.
Wow.
right? So have you
meltdown.
ever seen Return to Oz?
Yes, I have.
So
Like the 80,
no,
89,
Yeah,
I think, something like
yeah.
that?
I didn't.
88.
I like started it when I was a kid.
It's
but,
terrifying.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Scary.
Yeah.
I did not.
But it
finish
is
It.
not
it
a-
is true to the book.
Book, yeah.
and so it is terrifying. Oh, we're talking about movies, you idiots. Sorry you don't want to partake.
I got
What
no
is it?
input for Wicked. I'm sorry.
Uncultured swine.
Yeah.
You are uncultured.
I have no
swine.
input, I'm sorry.
so excited for it.
Trust me, the Wizard of Oz that he's ever been is me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
go
my
f-
collection of Wizard of Oz.
I've seen the movie. I took her to
A
a
play.
St. Joe production of The Wizard of Oz
How romantic.
at the Missouri Theater.
Yeah.
It was quite lovely.
But yeah, he doesn't
there.
know. Yeah, anything that he knows is.
Oh, and
just
I've
what
watched Tin Man.
Yeah,
I like
but,
Tin Man.
Yeah,
Tin
but like I
Man's
said,
good.
I go,
I've seen it.
that's
It's
not
not
really
bad.
anything to.
It was
Although
on Sci-Fi.
I do know who the Tin Man is.
Yeah.
And I know who the Scarecrow
I know,
is.
I know, right?
So I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Yeah, I know. I've done all that
I've
research
spoiled it
too
for myself.
on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, I was excited, and he's like, it's 2 hours.
In 45
Listen.
In
This is-
45 minutes.
this is
and
part
I don't
one.
think
Part-
exactly. And I was like, I don't
It's
think my
part
body
one.
can handle that.
It
in
ends at the
theater.
intermission of Broadway.
Oh.
Wow.
And then next year, the second part comes out.
Yeah.
But like Ariana Grande has been training and taking
Yes.
acting classes.
Since it was like an idea.
an
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
like 8 years ago.
Wow.
Because she wanted to be Glinda
Linda,
so
yeah.
bad. And so when she walked into audition, she was wearing like all pink and had her
Yeah.
pink mug.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had her sing all these songs. I think like 6 or 7 songs they had
Yeah,
her
they
sing
did.
in the audition.
She nailed it.
And
But Cynthia, I
Yeah.
had never heard because I didn't watch her in the Harriet Tubman movie, and I'd not seen any of her stuff before, so I was new to her besides like some little, roles that I had seen of hers in movies that he's made me watch. I didn't realize she had a voice on her.
Oh, she's good.
Holy
to be
crap.
Elphaba, like, you got to be good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You got to be really good. But I like that they've interviewed with Kristen
Chenoweth.
Yeah. And then Menzel. Idina Menzel.
Yeah.
And they were like...
I always get people's names wrong.
They were like, you did it justice. Like, you created your own thing. And they were like, it is phenomenal. So...
I remember when they were out on tour too.
Yeah.
I didn't go.
So when I worked at Hollywood theaters way back in the day, like 15, 16, 17 years ago, that music was playing all the time in the theater. And I'm like, why are we playing Broadway musical stuff in a movie theater? And it's not a movie. Yeah. And here we are in 2024 and they finally came out. Yeah, finally.
Also, I feel like Wicked is one of those musicals where I don't ever hear people talking about it, but then like as soon as this movie came out, every single person that I know
I definitely
was already a
people
fan, and I was like, how do you know this? How do you know these songs? I never heard them.
I know Gravity and Popular.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
two
that's
songs.
the only 2 songs I know.
And that's just because they were in the movie theater all the time.
I remember hearing Popular when I was sitting in the theater waiting for the movies to start, and they were talking about it on screen, doing the trivia and stuff like that, the movie or newbie, whatever it is. And I was like, okay, that's great.
Popular. I'm gonna be popular.
I'm ready.
That's it. That's the one.
I'm so ready. I'm excited.
I think that if you went and saw it, you'd like it.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, when we see it, it'll be at home.
Unfortunately, I'll really like this movie.
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait to see it till it comes out.
Why?
I can't.
She can't sit in a theater for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Grow up, Grandpa Joe.
He's made me
Grandpa
go
Joseph.
see stuff,
Grandpa Joseph.
and I'm like,
Sorry, it's Grandpa
Joseph.
Joseph.
Chelsea's pulling the "You made me go watch Killers of the Flower Moon in theaters."
Seriously.
God.
Yeah.
You made me go to Lee's house and watch The Item.
And,
Exactly.
Yes.
You should have just stopped it at.
I've
You
never
made me go to Lee's house.
I've never. So I knew people were going to
she's
hate
been
this
there
movie,
more than once.
but I had no idea that it was genuinely going to disgust people. And like when I saw her turn her chair away from the TV, and then after the movie, we walk in the kitchen. I say, "I'm sorry," and she's like,
Gross. At one point, I don't know what the hell was happening at the end of that movie when they were
I don't think
getting it
anyone
on.
Right?
Like, what is going on?
There's a little part of me that enjoys torturing people.
Yeah, I think so.
I was also like secretly looking up other bad movies. I'm gonna make sure that I don't watch another movie like The Item.
Right?
I don't know another movie
horrible.
like The Item.
I don't believe another movie like The Item
exists.
exists.
I've talked about that movie for years, saying that it is genuinely the worst movie I've ever seen. And everyone's like, how bad can it be?
It's bad.
And I will let people borrow it, and I'll just get F you in a text message. That's all it says.
Right?
anyway,
Oh man.
Sorry.
That movie.
What are we here
It's
for?
a Wonderful Life
It's a Wonderful Life.
with James Stewart.
Which is light years better than
Yeah,
The Item.
James.
They're not even on the same
Not
planet.
no.
Why did we pick It's a Wonderful Life?
That would be me because it is in my top 5 favorite movies.
All-
Probably
all
like
movies, not just Christmas movies, all movies.
all movies. It probably sits at number like 2 or 3. I love it so
What's
much.
number 1?
Oh my god, what is number 1? I don't think it's this one, but
See?
it'll probably be like a sentimental movie with Logan. Probably a movie
Kung
that
Fu
like
Panda?
gives me the feels.
Moana or something.
No.
Chicken Little.
Chicken.
But I love this movie.
Isn't it weird how movies change when you have children?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that the weirdest
Always.
freaking feeling? This movie hit me different.
Oh, yeah.
I'd watched it years ago and I'm like, oh, that's a great movie. And now just having 2 kids and rewatching it, I'm like, holy crap, like what a great movie, you know?
Right.
It really makes you look at his situation a lot differently too. The sacrifice that he was willing to take
His
on.
entire life was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
But
And,
he
like,
doesn't realize it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like that's I think the
Exactly.
whole point of the movie is
just love
he thinks that he's ruined and he's given up his entire life without realizing that he's created like
This whole
this
beautiful
whole
life.
wonderul life. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, you said
Beautiful.
the thing.
See what I did there?
You said the
did that.
thing.
Clever.
Does anybody remember the first time they watched this movie?
No, I was little.
I was
Yeah, I was really
I was
little.
a teenager.
Yeah.
I bet I was younger than that.
I wasn't. My family did not watch a lot of movies.
The first time I
like
watched this, I
that.
probably don't even remember. That's how young I was, would be my guess.
I could see that.
But it's
I think
always been in my life.
The first time I watched it all the way through, I imagine that when I was a kid, I was a lot like Logan. I didn't stay in the room. I was in and out, and I wasn't paying attention. But the first time I watched it all the way through and was like, holy crap, this is life-changing, was in college. And then
When you
I
got an
just
attention
I
span?
just loved it. Yeah.
So I am I've always been the movie person, and I will watch, even as a little kid, I sat and watched movies.
Yeah,
same.
And so it drives me crazy that I can't get my kids to do that.
Yeah, same.
Ben will watch it, but he's the questioner. Why is that? What happened? I'm like, Benjamin, I don't know.
Just watch the movie.
We have to watch the movie. How am I supposed to know?
That is me even now. Like, I can't
Or I'll
sit.
say-
I have to talk and ask questions during the movie.
Well, he'll say why, and I'll be like, just watch. Just tell me. Just tell me. Just tell me. And then, but Jack's like, I'm out of here. He's gone.
Yeah,
he
play some
is.
Legos.
Yeah,
No
Logan
attention
plays
span.
with Legos during movies.
Not me. I remember sitting and just being like, shunk.
My understanding of this movie always is, like we were talking about earlier, like the last 20 minutes of the movie is all that I ever remember. And even like a month from now, whenever I think back to this movie, I'll only ever think about the last 20 minutes of the movie.
I mean,
You know
it
what I'm
has
saying?
just crazy character build-up.
But like,
Right.
also, is that because that's all you really see when people mention the movie in media or when they talk about it? It's really that last 20 minutes when
Same.
there's like so many good parts.
There are so many good parts, but I would say that in the last 10 minutes is 90% of the plot.
Yeah.
It is.
They build up so much from
Yeah.
the beginning, all the backstory and
Right.
every life that he touched, you notice going through the backstory.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to that last 20 minutes when he's never been born, he's not thinking in that dimension.
Right.
That, you know me, I've known you my whole life. No, you weren't born. So none of this ever happened. Your
Yeah.
brother's gone. All this stuff,
Yeah.
it just keeps building
There's
and
no
building
one there
and
to save
building.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what all that buildup brings the ending just makes it so much
But
richer.
it does, because you know,
Right.
as the audience, how he affected people already.
Exactly.
He doesn't know, almost selfishly.
Finalize that point is that the last 10-20 minutes is the most impactful. Whenever I
that's
think
what
about
you're
the
gonna
movie,
remember.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
going to remember.
of
It's the
course.
most impactful moments of the movie.
I don't know.
So-
Wish I had
But
$1 million.
then-
Is like
Hot
hot
dog.
dog. yeah.
I was gonna
Love
say,
it.
yeah, him being like when he's a kid and he has that job and his boss almost poisoned somebody. That's like a sucker punch too of
Right.
what could have happened.
Yep.
Yeah, but him having his adventure book, the National Geographic. Only adventurers get this book.
I've
you
been
know?
nominated to join the National Geographic Society.
Right? Yeah.
Better watch out, little girl. I'm serious. I'm blowing this one horse town.
Can you help me down? Help
Help
you
you
down.
down.
I was like, God, James, calm down.
So our icebreaker this week is black and white or in color?
I've never watched it in color ever.
I
Me
have.
neither.
I didn't know what
It was
in
in
color
color?
version existed.
There it
Yeah.
is.
What?
Yeah.
I owned it.
What? That's Mandela effect stuff.
Huh? It's not bad. Yeah, I
Never
like
even
it.
knew it existed.
Me neither.
Yeah. There's 2 versions on Amazon Prime that we were able to watch.
Really?
Yeah,
I watched
Chelsea
it on
was-
Amazon
That's
Prime and I only
weird.
saw the black and white one.
Really? Would you prefer to watch it in color, or do you think that it kind of ruined the magic? Or
Is it that
What? It's
color
this.
color added? Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
it's
want to watch
colored
that.
added.
No.
I see. Nah.
nah?
Nah, black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes everybody
That's
look
freaking me out, man.
It makes everybody look unnatural.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like any of that when it comes to the black and white movies. If it was
Like
black and white,
colored,
keep it
yeah.
that way.
I would love to have just like, I would just wish I could glimpse into the past and see what it actually looked like.
Right?
Because
Exactly.
you always think of those brown, weird tan colors when you think,
Right? I was like, what color was their hair?
Like what colors was that dress really?
Yeah.
Was it, or was
What
it
was that
bright?
color?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
No, you're good. One of the things too that they would do for makeup is that they would over enhance
Their cheeks.
their cheeks and like the foreheads and stuff like that, so that it
Yeah.
popped more whenever they made emotions in black and white. So
I gotcha.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like the
crazy.
lines that they draw on them,
Yeah.
and yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life.
All right, let's calm down.
Sorry.
Sorry we're boring you.
It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah. Has a runtime of 131 minutes. It premiered December 20th, 1946, unlimited release, and then wide release of January 7th, 1947. Had a budget of $3.8 million and it grossed $3.3 million.
Lost money?
Yes.
Wow.
So the
How
film,
much is it made now?
Right.
The film was such a box office office failure because whenever you get like the budget, you have to add double. I mean, it's kind of the general rule for like marketing and stuff like that. So the film was such a box office failure that it also ruined Frank Capra's production company, Liberty Films, after just one movie, which was this movie. The 1989 Copyright Act.
Man, wouldn't that suck?
Really?
To have like a classic movie.
A classic movie that is
everyone
beloved.
knows.
And is
And it
beloved.
ruined your company.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Puts them out of business.
The 1909 Copyright Act meant that the creative works such as movies were protected for 28 years. However, once this time had passed, it would be up to the studio to reapply the copyright. With Liberty Films folding soon after It's a Wonderful Life release, it fell to Republic Pictures to renew the copyright, which they never did. Soon after, it entered into public domain, which meant anybody could show the movie royalty-free so nobody would get paid for it. This happened in 1974.
I mean, someone's making money on this movie. Well,
So-
I paid $15 for this movie.
Right.
Someone's making freaking money on it.
So It's a Wonderful Life found its way on
VHS,
home
baby.
broadcast television during Christmas season, where it's become a Christmas classic, and people loved it. Because when the movie initially came out, it actually had a lot of mixed reviews. Not a whole lot of people liked this movie. And it wasn't until in the 70s, there were still people that enjoyed the movie, but it didn't really find its following until it was released on all of these different
Mass release.
I
release
wonder
for
if it was
television.
a cultural thing too back then. Him stepping on a robe and her being naked and being drunk and
Right.
abuse, from
He was kind of a dick.
yeah. I mean,
Well, and also he cries in the film, and men don't cry, so don't want to see men's weakness.
yeah. So I wonder if that back then was
Kind of a
what
big
the heck
thing.
is going on,
Yeah.
and then later on,
and
it
I
was
don't know-
before its time.
I don't know if I have it in my notes or not, but this was actually Jimmy Stewart's first movie after he came back from the war. And he actually had to be convinced to do the part because he didn't think that he could handle being back on set doing a movie just because of what he went through.
Wow.
Top box office for 1946.
Can't wait.
Any guesses for the number one? Because I know you guys know the movie from 1946.
I don't have
Mimi in St. Louis.
the foggiest idea.
Easter Parade.
Song of the South.
Oh my God.
Number two, Notorious.
B.I.G. Oh.
Yeah.
It was only a dream.
3, The Best Years of Our Lives. 4, Duel in the Sun. The Jolson Story. 6, Blue Skies. 7, The Postman Always Rings Twice.
With Jean Garfield.
8, Margie. 9,
Had Lana Turner in it too.
Gilda. And 10, Night and Day.
Where did it fall on the list?
It did not.
Did
'cause
not.
It was
I'm
such
saying at all.
They only had
Didn't
17.
register.
But also, this movie was released like during Christmas, and this was top for 46. So it only had like,
Yeah.
Had a wide release in 47.
Song in the
so-
South. Can't even purchase it now.
yeah. Would you want to? So,
I mean, I like Briar Rabbit.
a couple facts about the movie before we get into spoilers is that the set was constructed in 2 months and was one of the largest sets that had ever been made for an American movie. It covered 4 acres of RKO's Encino Ranch, and it includes 75 stores and buildings, a main street, a factory district, and a large residential and slum area. Main Street was 300 yards long, 3 whole city blocks.
Jeez.
Keep
So-
off the grass.
See where all their production costs
I
went.
want to know how much asbestos was used in
Oh, gosh.
That's what I said too.
this. Because that's
like,
what fake snow used
what's
to
that
be.
fake
was
snow?
Asbestos.
Because that's what they used in The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Craziness.
Yep.
Anything about the movie before we get into spoilers?
No, I mean, I think it's a
Classic.
classic movie.
Yeah.
You got-
So would you guys recommend people watch this? And if so, who?
Everyone.
Everyone should see
Everyone.
this movie
Yeah.
at least once in
I
their
agree.
life.
I had Jack for a little bit on it. I had it on.
Yeah.
And he sat, watched it, and then he was like, "Oh wait, VR." So he was out of here.
We're gonna do something else.
But I mean, he sat and watched it for a little bit, and it was asking.
I will
questions.
say that I thought it ran just a hair long.
it's a long movie.
I didn't remember it being as long as
Yeah,
it was.
2 hours.
And yeah, it was a little long. Still classic.
Well, Lee, can you take us into spoilers on your count?
I wish I had $1 million.
Hot dog.
But first,
Trivia.
Trivia.
Don't be peeking over here.
Peeking.
Chelsea.
Question 1. What is the name of the town?
Bedford Falls.
Number 2.
Pottersville. Just saying.
Bonus points.
Trick
Yeah.
question.
Number 2. What caused the town to panic?
The Depression.
Yeah, Great Depression. It was the bank run.
Potter bought the bank and required immediate payment, is what I had.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Number 3. Whose famous saying to George is, hee-haw?
Wainwright.
Sammy. Or
Sandy.
It's Wainwright. He's the guy that got rich on plastics.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, but
what's
he
his
was.
name?
Oh, what is
I don't remember his
his
first
name?
name. I just remember it was Wainwright.
It's something with an S.
Yeah.
Sam?
No.
I thought. I don't know.
I think it's Sam.
Okay, what is it?
Sam Wainwright.
There you
Sam.
go.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 4.
Second guess.
Where was Violet Brick going to leave to?
New York.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And number 5. Who is George and Mary's youngest child?
Zuzu.
Zuzu.
Zuzu's
What's wrong with you?
petals.
Bonus question. The Greatest Gift is also a loose adaptation of which famous book?
The Greatest Gift is what The Wonderful Life was
It's
based on. Okay.
Yeah. The book was based on another book.
Okay.
Which book is it?
Give
and I've
me
got
my options.
4 options. A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. B. The Nutcracker by E.T. Hoffman. C. A Christmas Memory by Truman Capote. D. The Gift of Magi by O.
Gift of the
Henry. Magi by O. Henry.
It's not Gift of the Magi because that's.
It's A or C. I
It's
think
A.
it's A or C.
I think it's A.
I go A.
A.
A? It is A.
Yay.
That's correct.
Makes the most sense
Hey,
Yeah.
what's our score?
because that's our.
You got it.
That's
Okay.
my favorite Christmas movie is the 1951 version of A Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Alistair Sim.
Mine's Scrooged.
Can't find it anymore.
So let's get into our long form, but not so long form
nibbles.
discussion.
Sorry.
Very
Reference
good.
to Scrooge.
Our intro is basically 2 angels that are talking to each other.
2 galaxies.
Yes, 2 galaxies that are talking to one another. They're saying that there's this guy that really needs some help right now, and they're going to send out Clarence, who does not have his wings yet, to go and help him out.
Angel second class.
Angel
Yes.
second class, Clarence.
No wings.
Tell me a little bit about this. George Bailey.
His life in review.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, I think that's a great premise on how they... So it
Right off the bat,
Starts
kind of-
off with how he got deaf.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he saved his brother.
Saved his brother in the
from
household.
drowning, which caused him permanent hearing loss in
damage.
his left ear.
Right.
And then it shows him as the kid working
At the pharmacy.
and how he
Gower's.
Gower's son had died in the war. Mm-hmm. He was drunk and kind of losing his mind, and George was running the whole store. We first meet Mary and Violet, and they're like, I kind of like him. And Mary doesn't say anything. She just...
She's like, you like every boy.
You
What's
like
wrong
every
with that?
boy. Yeah, well, what's wrong with that? And so George realizes that he put the wrong medicine in the medicine bottle.
Yeah.
And he goes back and tells him, and
Catches a beating.
he catches a beating. His ears.
Well, what he
go
does
bleeding.
is he doesn't deliver the medication to where
Yeah.
it needs to go, and he comes back, and
Yeah, that's
Gower
it.
gets a phone call, and it says that we never got the pills. He goes, "What do you mean? It should have been there an hour ago."
Yeah.
And why didn't you take it over there immediately, like I told you to? Then he proceeds to beat the blood out of poor little.
I know, his poor
And he's like,
ear.
just look at it. It's poison. You put poison in there.
Don't hurt my
Yeah.
sore ear again.
Oh, yeah, that line sucks.
It does suck.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
Yeah,
Just
it-
trying to help you out.
But that's what we get our first, when he walks in the story, goes to the lighter and
Wish I
hits
had $1
it.
million.
Wish I had $1 million. And it lights up and he says, hot dog. And we get our first introduction into him wanting to be an explorer of the world.
We get a real good sense of
who he is.
who George is. Just he's a good kid, paying attention.
Morals.
Yep, saves his brother. Just doesn't even think about jumping in freezing water to save his brother. You know?
Then
Saves
he
the kid.
saves the
Kid from the
store
pharmacy,
owner.
Yep, man, he's just at an early age hitting all
He
the
saves the
boxes.
kid.
Saves the kid.
And saves the pharmacist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the pharmacy,
Is
Well,
talking
then
to
it
his dad
shows-
about going to college or going on
Yeah.
an adventure.
Yeah. He's
and
older.
coming back and going to college, and his brother Henry has graduated high school.
Right.
And he's telling his dad, hey, I don't want to come back and run the family business,
Yep.
He's like, I really want to go do my own thing. And you could tell his dad's heartbroken. And he's like, you know what? I think I'm going to go get dressed. I'm going to go to Henry's party.
right?
So he goes to the party and sees Mary, and we see
Yes.
Sam. He comes up.
Hee-haw,
Hee-haw.
hee-haw.
He sees Mary from afar and is immediately taken aback by her.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like it has the light on her face and light on his face, and you can tell that there's like a little.
love it when they do that in movies. Like
James Stewart is like 8 feet tall, so he's like a foot taller than everybody in the whole gym, and he's just looking at her, and he's just got the stars in his eyes.
And the poor guy's trying to talk to Mary.
Yeah,
he looks like Alfalfa.
Yeah.
it does. I thought it was the kid that played Alfalfa.
Yeah, he
I'm
looks
almost
like
certain
Alfalfa.
it was.
He's like, hey, I
my
got the
dance.
yeah,
Nah, it's my dance.
And he goes,
Beat
hey,
shrimp.
yeah.
Hey, what's
So-
the big idea?
He's like, I'm not a dancer, and she's like, I'm not either. And they start doing the Charleston competition.
Really good.
Yeah, they're tearing it up.
Nailing
And,
it.
they were.
and then who is it that goes to him and says, hey, right before below this floor is the swimming pool.
They don't say who that was.
Now, and he goes, and I got the key.
So
and George Bailey is dancing right over the crack. And so they open the pool. It's slowly opening, which technology for the day. I mean,
Yeah.
Right?
that
Yeah.
Central had that. The Central
and-
freshman gym had that.
Didn't they say that George had drawn up the model for that
yeah.
pool and everything? Because they couldn't afford to do a pool and
A gym.
a gym.
Yeah.
So they did both.
I mean, I think that would be more expensive if you ask
Yeah.
me.
cheaper than 2 buildings.
That actually is still used today, 55 years later. And
Oh, that's cool. I can't
it
believe that
was
thing
like
still
55
works. I
years
mean,
later, so
they don't build them like they
They don't
used to.
build
That
like
thing
they
is
used to.
all
Yeah, right.
steel.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they fall in the water, and then everyone else starts
And
jumping
everybody
in.
jumps in.
And
It's
even the old guy jumps
Yeah.
in.
It's funny how they're dancing. They get closer and closer to the
And everyone's
edge,
like,
and
"Yeah."
everybody's screaming, and
They're like,
they have
hey,
no
yeah,
idea
we're doing
why.
pretty good.
they must be doing great. So did they technically win since they were the last
Right?
couple
I mean, yeah.
dancing?
I would think so.
They won.
So then they're walking home, and he's in the football gear.
Yep.
And she's in just a towel.
A robe.
A robe, yeah. And they're singing the...
Buffalo gal.
Yeah.
Buffalo girl, won't you come out tonight? Won't you come out tonight? I like it when they get close to each other and they sing.
That's my favorite scene.
Yeah. So I used to asking her like what she wants, and he was like, "You want the moon?
What do you want? You want the
I'll throw a
moon?
lasso
I'll throw a lasso around the moon. I'll pull it right down for you, Mary."
She says, I'll take it.
I'll take it. Yeah. The old guy in the porch is watching him. I love. It's the classic.
just
What are you
kiss her
doing? Why don't you
already."
just kiss her already? Quit talking so much.
Youth is wasted on the wrong people.
Yeah.
That's the truest
It
statement
is.
in that entire movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Youth is wasted on,
On
the
the
young.
And she yelps, and he looks down, and he's like, "Mary," and the robe is down there, and she's gone, and she's in a
In the
petun bush, I think.
Begonias.
Begonias. She's
No, it's the
Hydrangeas.
in
yep.
there.
Hydrangeas.
Hydrangeas. Yeah. And she's like, "Give me my robe," and he's like, "No, wait
know
a
about
minute.
that. I'm gonna
I'm
tell
in a
your-
predicament here."
Yes.
I'm going to tell your mother. Well, she's all the way up there.
I think
Yeah.
it looked.
I like how he acts like that. And
Yeah.
all the way up there, and you're here. And, I like him working it through his head.
That's why I think like most of that had to have been ad libbed.
Yeah. They also are throwing rocks at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, "I want to show you the house."
If you break glass.
And she's like,
it's
"I
supposed
love
to
the
get
house.
your
It's
wish.
romantic, And
He's
he's
a
like,
dumb.
"That old piece of shit."
So for that scene, Donna Reed was required to throw a walk through the window, and director Frank Capra hired a marksman to shoot it out on cue. But to everyone's amazement, Reed broke the window by herself, and she had played baseball in high school and had a strong throwing arm.
Wow.
So,
Look at you.
I didn't know much about Donna Reed. I know she had her own show, but man, she died young.
oh yeah.
I think she was in her 40s when she died.
What
Yeah.
other movie was she in? Was she in
She's in
Casablanca?
the Donna Reed show. I don't think she's in a lot. She had her own TV show.
From Here to Eternity, The Donna Reed Show, and Beyond Mombosa.
Yeah, I think that those are the only ones she's really known for.
Awesome.
She's in the bush, and
There she is.
yeah, and the
And then who drives up?
it's his
the cop, or
it's-
was it the?
It's his brother too. Isn't it Henry?
But was it the cop or was it the cab driver?
I don't think that was anyone. I think they pull up. His brother says something's wrong with Dad.
He's had a stroke.
Yep,
We gotta
doctor's
go.
at the house. We got to go. And he just throws a robe, and he's like, "I gotta go," and he
Right.
goes.
Yep.
And then was it like 2 months later? His dad dies.
He died then.
I don't think he died. I think he.
No, he
Yeah,
died
'cause
then,
they-
and then they time jumped 3 months
Oh.
that he's
Yeah.
already been dead for 3 months. Potter's trying to take over the building alone
Yeah.
again.
Because
Yeah.
he'd been filling in to get things ready to pass it on
Yeah, so-
to the uncle.
Yeah,
Because he wants
So
to,
that he could
he's going off
get
to
out of
college.
town.
his uncle
He
wasn't
skipped
taking
his
over
trip to
nothing with
he
his
skipped his
memory.
trip to
No.
Europe, so he didn't get to go on his adventure
That
to
uncle.
Europe.
Yeah,
So then he was just going to go off to college, and then if it was either we're going to give the building and loan to Potter, or you're going to run it.
Well, because he loses his mind on him.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't believe that all of you are going to give him more power. He already owns this. He already runs this. He owns this. He does this. And this is the only thing in the town that he doesn't have his paws in.
Yeah,
and look at the houses he's built and how these people are living. And all of you are just going to hand it over to him. Yep. And he walks out and his uncle comes and he was like, they're not going to do it on one condition. You have to run it. And he was like, I'm
going to college.
I don't want to. And they were like, that's the only condition. And they trap him.
Yeah. I felt so bad for him.
That's a heartbreaking
every
scene.
time you turn around, this guy's making some sacrifice for somebody else.
Yeah.
All he's ever wanted to do is get out of that
just travel
crummy town.
Just do something for himself. That's all, and he's been so selfless his entire life.
Yep.
We really meet his uncle then,
and
we meet like
Uncle
the people that work in the building and loan. Henry's coming home from war.
No, he's coming home from school.
Married.
And he's married, and he was supposed to take over the business.
Yeah.
But he
so
was
that
offered
he
a
could
job.
go to, so that George could go
to college.
travel and
What
college
was
and all
the
that
job,
stuff.
his brother? It was a weird job.
It was in Buffalo.
It was in Buffalo.
But yeah,
What was the
it
job?
wasn't very.
It was a glass, wasn't it? A
glass.
thing?
It was glass. Yeah.
Glass
And
factory.
It was
his,
some kind of.
his wife.
He was going to be in sales.
Because it was his in-laws.
Yeah, he was going to be in sales for the glass company. And they were like, is it a good job? And she's like, yeah, it's a really good
Not
job.
much
not
money.
Not much
money.
money, but a lot of potential.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to end up taking over.
That breaks my heart too, because you can see like
Like,
the
he knew
turmoil.
right away.
And he comes out. Oh, this is the scene with Mary. Yeah, he comes out. And his mom comes out, and he's standing outside the front. And he's like, I think I'm gonna
Why don't you go see Mary?
She
She's back in town.
definitely nudged him too.
Oh, I love that she's like, he's that way, and she points him, and he walks that way, and then the next he turns around and comes back the other way.
I'm not going to see her. I'm mad.
But he does the constant like talking to himself. Like, I love that. Like
that
he's like,
only James Stewart can
why
do.
not?
But he knew, I go and see her,
It's over.
then I'm really not leaving this town.
Yeah,
because I
he
already
knew it's
know I
over.
have great chemistry with her. I already like her. I'm going to want to marry her, and I'm not going to want to leave. And you can see all that conflict that's just tossing in his head. Poor guy.
It
Felt
sucks.
so bad for him.
Yeah, and he shows up and.
And he's so
kind of a
angry
jerk.
too.
I love it though, because
Like-
he's like, I don't want anything to do with you. You know what I
Right? I'm
mean?
gonna get out of this town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want
it's
this.
almost like, how
He's like, I
dare
don't even
you
know
be
why I'm
somebody
here.
that I want to be with?
Yeah.
How dare you? I'm
you
so
call Sam?
angry because you're going to be the reason why I stay here.
And the mom is like,
What's he doing down
what
there?
is he doing down there? Sam's calling.
Right? From
Oh
New
my
York.
God.
Yeah.
Hee-haw.
So Sam does call, and he's talking to him on the phone. He's like, I want you on the ground floor of this plastics factory, you know? Like, I want you to be part
Well,
of
he's
it.
like, I got a plastics factory. And he goes, well, why don't you do it here in town? We got a whole building that's just sitting empty.
Yeah.
Since Potter took it over and blah,
Right.
blah, 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 blah.
Well, that
and
just shows you how much his town means to him.
Yeah.
He's willing, he's like,
just not willing to stay.
he's so, well, and I think it's more like he probably would have gone back, but he needed to be able to see other places too. And
Yeah.
maybe even as a kid, he noticed people really rely on me. And
Probably overwhelming. Mm-hmm. They're talking to Sam on the phone. Sam's offering him the opportunity. Then he's starting to talk to Mary. And Sam's
just
still
getting
talking,
closer.
and they're getting closer and closer. And he does that aggressive 40s kiss that they do in the
Yes.
movies.
Yes.
That looks like it hurts your teeth.
so passionate.
Yeah.
Let me just mash our faces.
Yeah, and
together.
he's shaking, and the mom is shaking her head, and she runs away, and Sam's still on the phone, like talking. You can hear him in
And
the
honestly,
background.
Sam did not care. That guy was already, he had some chick
Yeah, I mean,
standing behind him.
she's pretty nice
He
looking.
was fine.
And he's a millionaire.
Right? He's
Yeah.
already rich.
So James Stewart was nervous about phone kiss scene because it was his first on-screen kiss since his return to Hollywood after the war. Under director Frank Capra's watchful eyes, Stewart filmed the scene in only one unrehearsed take, and it worked so well that the part of the embrace was cut because it was too passionate to pass the censors.
I mean,
Broke
it's
her
Jimmy
rib.
Stewart.
She came out missing a tooth.
She broke a rib. He squeezed her so hard.
So the next scene is them getting married.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right? They're getting married, and they are getting pelted by
yeah.
the bird
Right.
seed.
And rain.
That was
Pelted,
horrible.
And rain.
Buckets
It was
of-
pouring
Yeah.
friggin' rain.
Yeah.
But they're getting out of town.
Yeah, so
They
they have
thought-
$10,000 and they're gonna see the world, have the best hotel rooms, have the best room service, and they're in the limo, the taxi, but they're in their limo and they drive past the bank and they see everyone in town rush into the bank. And he was like, pull over. I got to find out what's going on. And so he finds out that Potter is demanding payment. And he was like, I got to go to the building and loan.
Yeah. And
so he goes
waiting.
and they're waiting patiently. He's like, well, what the heck's going on here? Why aren't the doors open? And he opens it up and everyone follows him up.
We want our money.
He's like, but you invested your money in his house.
Yeah.
And you invested your money in their house. And you will get your payment back once they make payments. You know, that's the agreement you signed upon.
Yes.
You know, I'm not trying to keep your money, but I don't have all of your money here. The whole point of this is that you're investing in each other's homes and they're quality homes, you know? Guys, like, I want my $243.
That guy was such an asshole.
And he's like, come on. Mary was like, we have money. And she was like the first to be like, we're a honeymoon. We have money. You know, we have, I guess it was $2,000, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, how much do you want? He was like, 243. And he was like, please. And he was like, 243. So it gives him $243. Next person comes up and he's like, how much do you need to survive for a week? You know?
Give me $20.
$20. He's like, that's what I'm talking about.
And the next lady comes up and he's like,
$17.50.
What do you need? $17.50.
And he kisses her.
Kisses her. That's what I'm talking about.
So they get all the way to 6 o'clock because they are going to be bust if they don't make it to 6 o'clock and not be able to pay everyone. And they have $2
left.
What did they call them? I can't remember. They call them something.
I can't remember.
$1 and $2, but they named them something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember.
I know, right? And he puts them in the basket and he's like, we did it!
Gotta put them in the vault.
The one was the dad, one was the mom.
Yeah,
they need to come together
Yeah.
and make some more.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think that's what it was. If not, then I just made that up. But that was a good scene, though, because I think it showed that he chose a good partner. He chose somebody that was just as selfless as he is.
100% support.
Yeah,
They're
who
a
else
unit.
would have done that?
They're a
Not
unit
Violet.
together. Right. No, Violet would not have done that.
Would have been like,
We're out of here.
whoa.
But he can't let the building and loan go down, you know?
No, that's because it's.
Well, he can't let Potter win.
And honestly, that's his dad. Like, that building is his dad. That was his dad's.
He could have let it go to somebody else, but just not Potter.
No.
They save the building and loan. Right?
Yes, they do.
Scene, I think it jumps forward, right?
That's their honeymoon where he goes back.
They go back to the house on Sycamore.
And the
you learn
cop
that
and the cab driver
are singing to him.
They're hanging up the posters to like Tahiti and Florida and all these, and they start serenading
that was a
them.
good
She made a
scene.
meal, and this is our house. This is what I wished for back then when I broke the window. I wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I go, do you know all the bad crap that had to happen to George for your wish to come true?
Yeah, no shit.
I blame you.
Mary.
Hey, it's Donna Reed, though, so
Yeah. I mean,
Still.
second only to my wife, Chelsea.
Oh my gosh.
My hip waders. It's getting deep. It's getting deep.
It's getting real deep.
After that, I think it just flashes forward to
Having
when
kids.
they've had their kids.
Yep, there's
Yep.
3 kids.
And you know what? They do seem happy.
Oh, he
like he
seems happy.
seems content, and they've got
But
their
I think
kids.
you can be
and
happy and still have regrets in
Yes,
your life, right?
absolutely.
You know, like, I wish I would have done this, you know?
Yes.
I have those. I think everyone has that, you know?
The flute.
The flute.
Oh, man. You got to bring it up. You just got over
Too
that.
soon.
Too soon.
It's too soon, Lee.
You know what we're talking about?
Yes, I listened.
It's
I
a
listen
serious
all the
story.
time.
Thank you.
She is
I had an opportunity.
best listener.
I dated a girl in college that was a foreign exchange student. She was German. Her name was Stephanie.
Yeah.
And I was in college for economics. And I'm dating her, and I find out her dad is Germany's head economist for the government.
Whoa.
And he invited me over to intern. Well, one, I didn't know German. I didn't know any, you know what I mean? Like, I'm in college.
Pick it up quick.
Didn't do it.
Not that hard.
Didn't do it.
should've.
But guess what? I wouldn't have a wife. I wouldn't have kids. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, those are opportunities that you give up to have your current situations. So,
Yeah.
So true.
and I don't regret it.
Not me.
So.
I got it all.
Yeah, baby. That's right.
Liar.
Whatever. Got it all.
Has the kids.
Donna Reed's Mary is fixing up the house and
Just
just
killing
kind of
it.
working on little things.
Yeah.
Killing it.
So,
But then the war.
Oh, the war.
So it does a little
And
montage.
Harry goes to war.
It does a montage. Heaven, the angels give a montage of what he did during the war. Rubber drive, steel drives, getting everyone together in the community to support.
Air raid warden.
Yeah, he did everything. He was basically the mayor without being the mayor.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, he was in charge of all the committees and he did all this stuff.
Because he was 4F.
Yep, and then it flashes forward that Henry's coming home.
Congressional Medal of Honor.
Was his name Harry or Henry?
I think it was Henry. I think it was Henry.
I thought it was Harry.
I don't think so. It's Harry. You're right.
I can hear Jimmy Stewart's
I feel like
voice
you've
saying
seen
his
this
brother's
movie
name.
more than I've seen this movie, honestly. So sorry, Harry Bailey.
Yes. Harry comes home. Or
Harry comes home.
Is going to come home.
Because he has...
And he's going to see Mr. Potter. Sorry, continue.
No.
Who's going to see Mr. Potter?
Harry is going to see Mr. Potter.
No, he's not.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh.
Leave it a peepaw over there.
Good Lord.
Look at him. He's over there drinking. He doesn't even know. He's like, this is the easiest podcast ever.
Real.
You don't have to do anything.
I'm sitting in the producers.
That's right. Have fun editing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll complain to me about it the whole time.
So he's excited. He has the papers, right? And he's showing everyone.
Oh my gosh, he's so
He's
proud of
handing
his
them out.
brother.
He has a stack
and I
of
love
papers.
that.
Hands one to
Everyone.
everyone.
Yeah, and so
Uncle
has
Billy's
the...
got to take the money to the bank to
Right.
deposit.
And-
$8,000.
Fucking uncle.
Listen.
Whoa!
Listen.
Can't
but
stand
really,
that uncle.
It's not necessarily his fault.
It's 100%.
What?
No. Potter could have been a decent
Stand-up human
being.
Because
He
we
wouldn't.
so
He-
expected him to be that.
He
Right.
literally
He is
counted the
at
money and then forgot that he counted the money at the bank.
He
that
has the
ticked me
strings
off.
on his finger.
Dude couldn't remember
my
his
gosh.
last name.
Yeah.
I
Wasn't tattooed
So
to his
let's
underwear.
entrust him with
Right.
the
Yeah, that's
the
why I'm
money.
saying it's not necessarily his fault. Why
Maybe-
would old James Stewart ever trust him to?
Jimmy James.
To be
Why
fair,
would he? Why would the accountant that counts all the money not take that to the bank?
Right.
I know there was like two chicks there. You
'Cause
know
he's
they.
too busy.
There was the
worrying.
guy that had the crazy hair and the glasses. The
They
accountant
didn't trust
guy.
women back
He's
then.
too busy getting ready for Harry's return.
Harry
That
Potter.
said Henry.
Yes.
Yes. So-
The boy that lived. Coming to
Literally,
die.
he did live. He like got a Medal of Honor and everything.
So he folds the money up in the newspaper and gives it to Potter, and he was like, "Look,
I
have you
know.
seen the paper?"
What a dumbass.
And so Potter goes to his office
Like giving him
mad,
the money right there.
and he opens it up, and there's money in there, and he was like, "Take me to the door." Also, the butler or his assistant not
Yeah.
saying anything.
No, he didn't say, take me back.
And he sees who it belongs to, and he's like, "Back up, back up, back up." At this time, the bank auditor shows up to the building and loan.
Which is just the worst timing.
Right, and he's like, "I want to
Of
see your, I want to
course.
see your books." And he's like, "Yeah." And Jimmy's all too busy doing
no
this,
big
too busy
deal.
doing this.
No, it's not a big deal. It's
he's-
like the bank examiner comes in all the time to look at their books. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal to him because he doesn't know the money's missing yet. And then here comes Uncle Billy walking in a frenzy, goes right back to his office.
And he opens the
calls
door.
George in to talk to him.
Yeah.
And they shut the door.
There's papers everywhere.
Yeah,
He's losing his mind.
he's throwing everywhere. So George comes back out, starts looking all over the office to see if it's anywhere.
And he's like, "We have to retrace your steps."
Yep.
And he doesn't even remember counting the money in the bank. And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
You don't remember counting $8,000
Right.
in the
Right.
bank? $8,000?
In
Even back
in
then?
1946
I mean, that's like
or 19. No, it was
it's like
$19.
$50,000, $60,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
1940.
Wow.
Yes, 44, 45, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
He can't remember nothing. So George is now full on
Melt
panic mode.
down.
He knows he's going to prison.
Yeah.
He knows that the building and loan is done.
Yeah.
And he's going to jail.
Because it looks like the books have been forged.
Right. That they've taken the money and spent it.
Right.
And
Because they
on
have
top
no
of that,
proof. You know, it's misappropriation of funds. and
Yeah.
His
fraud.
family will be out on the streets.
Yep.
They're not
So
going to have nothing.
So he goes to Potter,
And he's like, "I need you to help me."
begging him. Of course, Potter's like, no, I'm not helping you.
I also forgot there's a scene at one point in time where he offers him a job.
Yeah.
Potter, yeah.
Yeah, he says, "I'll give you a
He
job,
did.
$20,000 a year," and
Yeah.
he's like, "Holy crap! Like that's so much money!"
Right.
And he's like, "Wait, what am I doing? No, I wouldn't
working for you.
Ever do this? You know?
Why would I give control of everything else over
I don't know
you?
where that fit in.
It was before that.
Yeah, it was right before that. I think it was
I
before
think
the
that was-
war. Right
yeah,
before the war.
It was because he was already married, and I think that they already had a kid or
And he's
two.
like, "Yes, go home."
I think it was
Talk to
right
the
after
wife."
the run.
No, I
August.
don't think that it was after they gave Martini his house, right?
Yep.
Or-
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I love that scene too. Martini
goat
them-
and everything in the
goat,
car.
Yeah.
They're all loading
Yeah.
up, and they're going from like this one room shack in the middle of nowhere
to like a nice suburban
really
Yes.
that
nice
is
house.
probably still around.
Yeah.
You know, like that neighborhood really looks like
Bailey
a neighborhood.
Park.
It looks like a neighborhood you drive through here in town, even.
Yeah.
You know, just like those are what the houses look like.
Yep.
And they're all constructed well. So he goes to Potter and asks for the money.
Yeah.
And Potter's like,
No, you don't have any stocks. You don't have any bonds.
"You have a $15,000 life, but
with
only $500
$500 in
in
equity.
equity in it."
You're
Yeah.
worth more dead than you are alive.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you can see the bell in his head. And so he was like, you know what I am going to do? I'm going to call the sheriff. I'm going to call so-and-so.
I'm going to kick you while you're down.
A warrant for your arrest, which is crazy to me, but let's figure this out.
Justice doesn't move that fast.
Like,
pride is probably hurt. Like, you think
Potter
you're better
runs the
than
town,
me. You
so-
turned me down.
He can do everything he wants.
So he goes home and he is pissed, not a happy camper. His kids are all happy because it's Christmas Eve. She's playing the piano because they're having a party, and he's like, I don't want to have a party. I don't want those people in my house.
Why do we have all these kids?
Why do we have all these kids? This drafty old house,
This crummy town.
I think that's just a relatable scene.
Right.
He's
just
walking
lost it.
in. He's got all this stuff going on his shoulders, and every little thing is a trigger.
Every bad thing he's ever thought comes out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Why'd we have the kids? Why'd we buy the house?
Why do we live in this town?
Why we live in this town? Why haven't I left to travel? Why'd I get married? Why'd I do any of this stuff? Look at the predicament, and I'm going to jail. I'm worth more dead alive than I am alive. So he has all these things going on. The one person that kind of breaks him, though, is Zuzu, though.
Yeah.
He's like, where's Zuzu? And
she's sick.
And he goes
upstairs.
upstairs.
He goes
I love him standing there.
on that teacher.
I love him standing. Oh, yeah, it goes off on the teacher.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then the husband.
That's great.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah. I'll fight you anywhere.
So he gets on the horn with the teacher that sent his kid out in the cold without her jacket buttoned up, and that's how she got sick somehow. But whatever, that's not how it works.
That's logic, right?
Yeah.
That's how
Parents' logic.
How our parents' logic was.
Right.
1940s logic,
Right?
honestly.
That's right.
Exactly.
So he goes up and he talks to her, but I love him standing there. He has like the slouch and his hands in his pockets, and he's like, "What's wrong with you?" You know. And she's like, "Paste my flower.
I
It's
know,
falling
little
apart."
Zuzu.
And he hides the petals in his.
See
pocket.
y'all better. I'm gonna give it a drink.
Yeah,
now go to sleep.
Give it a drink. Yeah, it's the only person he didn't freak out on.
Then he goes back downstairs and is a real ass to the rest of his family.
He kicks the table. Right? Isn't that what he kicked?
Screams at both the rest of the kids.
And all the kids are like, I'm so sorry, Dad. Because you know he doesn't do that. So
Right.
when he's lost his mind, they're like in shock. Like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
they're
and
frozen.
Mary
They're
is
in their
even
fight or
like,
flight.
something is wrong.
Going on.
And he's like, I'm out of here. And he goes to Martini's. Gets
Liquored.
liquored. Yeah.
That's where he meets
The teacher's
The
husband.
teacher's
husband.
husband.
This is George. This is Mr. Bailey. Which one? George.
Pow!
Yeah.
Did you ever
And
talk to my
And
wife like
Martini
that again?
kicks
She
him
bawled
out.
for an
Yeah.
hour.
I mean, rightfully so.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And so
He did deserve
they're like,
it.
Martini's like, George, please don't go. Please
Yeah.
don't go, George. How are you going to get home, George? And he's like, "Ah!"
He's like, Demi, don't look at me.
Demi, no, Demi, no, Demi, no. So he's driving to the bridge, and he hits
Gets
the
in a
tree.
wreck.
Runs right
Yeah.
into a tree.
And the guy comes out, and he's like, my grandmother planted this tree.
Look
Look
at
at
this
the ding you
tree.
put in it. And he's like, sorry.
Bye.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
out
your
of here.
tree's gonna be okay.
And he walks to the bridge, and he looks at the water, and he's like,
This is it.
I think his insurance policy.
He's looking around.
And he's just
Yeah.
covered with asbestos, which is
Yeah.
the snow.
Yeah.
It's just literally sticking to him.
Yep. I think
Clarence shows up and jumps in the water.
Yeah, I think Jimmy had cancer before he hit the water.
Yeah. And Clarence is saying, help me, help me, help me.
Can't swim.
And so he dives in to help to save him because the nature of him, of George
Yeah.
Bailey, kicks in. He was like, I can't hurt myself if I got to save this guy, you know?
Right.
So he saves him. And I love that when they're in the water, the asbestos is paste all over him. If
Yeah.
you look, it's like all over him. It's so gross.
Yeah.
They go up the
It's a little shack by the
little
bridge.
shake. I guess the bridge
It must
might
be
raise.
like a lookout or
Well,
something.
the bridge might
or-
raise or move or something.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
think
Yeah.
so because there was a worker in there.
Yeah. And
So
so,
they're trying to get warm, and he's telling him, well, yeah, my name's Clarence. I'm an angel. I'm here to
Like, yeah,
to help you
I
out."
jumped
He's-
in
Well,
the
he says
water because of you.
Angel something.
Second class.
But he doesn't say second class. He says S2 is what he says. And the guy's like S2 and he's like second class. And he's like, And I love that he walks out the door and he's like looking in the window as he walks by.
Yeah.
He's lost his mind.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, I knew I
And
had to
George
jump
is
in.
like, you're out of your mind.
Well, I knew I had to jump in, or you would have.
Yeah. He's like, how do you know all this stuff about you? You've been following me? What do you?
I'm your guardian angel.
Yeah, there. He's
Oh
like,
no!
I'm-
Wait, they have the conversation of
Well, he says, how am I going to help him? He's not listening to me. Maybe I just should never have been born.
Yep.
And he's like,
he's like, that's a good
that's a
idea.
good idea.
All
And he
right.
looks up at the sky and he's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And he's like,
All right.
done.
You've
That's
never
what
been
we're
born.
doing.
We got to put our clothes on. He's like, they're dry.
And your lip's not bleeding anymore either.
And, he's
And
like,
you can
"What do
hear."
know?"
Yeah, and you can hear out of your left
Yeah,
ear.
yeah. He's like, what do you know? Yeah. I haven't been able to hear out of that since I was a kid. Yeah.
It's crazy.
So he puts his clothes on and they go out. It's not snowing anymore. No more asbestos.
No.
So his car's gone.
Of course, because he has no car.
He grabs the guy and he was,
I don't know you.
Where's my car?
He was like, nothing. He was like, well, my grandfather pre-op, nothing happened to it.
Here in Bedford Falls.
In
What do you mean Bedford Falls?
Potterville.
Yeah.
I know where I live.
Yeah. And you're like, Potterville? So he goes to Martini's.
And
he doesn't look. He doesn't.
It's not
see,
Martini's.
He doesn't see it yet. It's Nick's.
Yep.
And so he goes in, and it's busy.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone.
Well, the
is
whole town.
They're I know.
The whole town's nothing but
It's like,
bars and
like
clubs.
It's like Vegas.
And pawn shops.
Right. But he walks in, and it is busy.
Oh, yeah.
Nick is a tough guy.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
god.
he's like, hey, where do you get off calling me Nick in my own place? Yeah.
I don't know.
Who are you?
We serve booze here for people that want to get drunk
So
quick.
the pharmacist walks in, and he's homeless. And he was
Drunk.
like, and drunk. He's like, what did I tell you about hanging out here? Like, you got to go.
Sprays him with
and
the
he
seltzer
grabs
water.
him, and he's like, what is going on? And grabs him.
Mr. Gower.
I love that
I'm
after
George
he gets
Bailey.
sprayed with the seltzer water, even the pharmacist laughs.
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
Yeah. Now give me a drink.
yeah. So they throw him out, and then I think the guy says he's an angel, and they don't have any money. And he's like, that's it.
You're
Get
out.
out of here. And because the register goes off, and he goes, up.
Look, get me.
An angel.
I'm giving out wings.
Yeah, an angel got his wings, and as they get
That
thrown
was a
out,
good
he's
part.
like, I'm giving out wings.
Hey, I'm giving out wings.
So they get thrown out, and he looks up, and he's like, Nick's? He's like,
Supposed
what?
to be Martinis.
Martinis. So then they walk into town, and it is like, and at this point in time, Clarence has disappeared. Like, George takes off.
Yeah, he's running.
Yeah, and Clarence isn't with him, and he sees all these bars and all these
Clubs
like
pawn shop.
dancing like women and
Yeah, and
like,
Violet.
Violet's getting arrested for
Yep.
being inappropriate or something.
Shocker.
And, yeah. And so
He's trying to hustle.
He is in full panic mode at this point in time.
No, and nobody knows him. He's walking up to everybody
Yeah.
he knows. I'm George, you know.
He
me,
walks
I'm
up to the
George
cab
Bailey. I
driver.
don't
He
know
walks,
you.
yeah.
Gets in the cab. Just take me home. Well, where do you live?
And he
You know
gives the
where I
address,
live.
and
You've
he's
been to
like,
my
"What?"
house. 320 Sycamore.
320 Sycamore. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he drives him to the house, and of course, it's just
And then he alerts
As he-
the police officer.
Yeah, he lets the police officer.
We gotta watch
taps
this
on the
guy.
side. He's like,
nuts.
hey,
We got one back here.
Like, I got somebody back here you might want to pay attention to.
So they get the house, and he's running through, and he's like, Mary! Zuzu! And then,
You
no.
never got buried. You don't have
And then Clarence shows up. He was like, nothing is here. You didn't create any of this, you know?
They end up
Before
at
that, he goes to the
cemetery where Bailey Park is
Yeah.
supposed to be.
Where
Harry's buried
Yeah.
because he wasn't there to save him.
But then he also sees Mary. Mary was
He's
a
like, "Where's Mary?"
librarian.
A spinster goes home. Mom's running a boarding house. She
He goes,
doesn't know him.
he goes to his mom first because Mary's how he gets arrested. He's
Mm-hmm.
going to get arrested because he's attacking her. He's
Right.
like, yeah, how can you not remember me?
I'm your husband.
Yeah, and
She
at one point in
faints.
time, he tries to find Zuzu's pedals in his pants, and they're not there.
They're not there.
She's never been born, and he's just in panic mode. So he's going to get arrested, and
He takes off.
he takes
He
off.
socks the cop.
Yeah.
And goes back to the bridge. Then he breaks down and says, "Yeah, I want to live. I want
And
to
it
be
starts
born
snowing
again."
again, right?
And it starts. That's when you know that the
Asbestos.
it's back to normal
Yeah.
as it starts snowing. And the cop shows
There's
up.
the cop.
And the cop knows his name. You know my name. Of course I do. I've been looking for you all night. Mary said you took off. There's something wrong.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And he
He
takes
runs
him,
to the car, and he's like, yeah, my car's here!
"Ah, you piece of crap.
Yeah, and he runs past Martinis, and then he's running through town. You get the famous
Merry
Yes.
Christmas, Bedford Falls!
Your old savings and loan building.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter!
What's up, Mary? He's going to jail.
And he goes home and he's screaming for Mary, and she's not there. But the kids are like, Dad! And he runs up and he's hugging them. But the cops,
The bank examiner.
they're all waiting for him.
Yep.
And the publicist, the
Oh, the
photographer,
reporter.
there with the camera and takes a picture of him. And Mary walks in, and she's
I fixed it.
I fixed it. And then his uncle walks in. He was like, the whole town's coming, you know. And
Yeah.
Everybody just brings their money.
Which is such an emotional scene to
I
see all these
agree.
people show up for him the way that he has shown
Yeah.
up for them that whole time.
Yep.
this movie
It's so
definitely
emotional.
hits harder the older you get.
Yeah.
And I think it's really emotional too when it's his brother that pops up because it's like, ugh,
You're alive.
that gets me
Alive.
right in
Yeah.
the feels because
Well,
you
every
saved
single
your brother.
person that he saved comes.
Yeah.
Like, they all come.
Exactly.
And then even Sam calls and says, give him a $25,000 line of credit, you know, like
Whatever he needs.
whatever
Yeah.
he needs to make sure he is taken care of.
Gets
and,
me every
And then
time.
the bank examiner comes and he throws money down
Yeah.
and he starts singing. and the cop throws money down and he starts singing.
And then tears up the warrant.
Yeah, but I love the photographers trying to get there, and he legitimately, there's too many people there, and he licks the money, and he starts singing, and then
George is holding Zuzu, and the bell rings on the tree, and she says, "Look, Daddy."
every time the bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
but he picks up the book of Huck Finn, and it says, thanks for giving me my wings.
Yep.
Clarence.
Attaboy, Clarence.
And that's the end of the movie.
Attaboy, Clarence.
Such a good movie.
It is such a good movie.
Gets you right in the feels.
It does. The end
And
of it is so powerful.
They don't make happy endings like that anymore.
I don't know. I thought about that a lot too. There's so many movies that we watch now that that was freaking depressing.
Or the happy ending is revenge.
Yeah.
It's nothing like
not
life
true
lessony
happy, yeah.
or happy, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad that they got what they deserved instead of.
Oh, I'm so glad this person is.
I can't think of the last movie
Successful.
that I got one. Saving Mr. Banks has a really good ending, like a real happy, good
I don't
ending.
think I've seen that.
Liar.
Grave of the Fireflies.
You shut your mouth.
Oh my god.
I love that his hair just keeps getting crazier and crazier. He's got a Pennywise thing going on this side.
I think the only other movie
You'll
that
flip too.
gets me in my feels like this one is The Big Fish.
Oh, yeah.
Like it,
Yeah.
right in the chest, makes me feel all kinds of
I
stuff.
demand that you watch Saving Mr. Banks.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Do you know what it's about?
It's about. Doesn't it have?
It's Walt Disney,
Walt Disney and
played by Tom Hanks.
I was gonna
about
say,
the
doesn't
making
it
of Mary
have Tom
Poppins.
Hanks?
It's about
in
him
it?
getting the rights to make Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
And so half the movie is about R.L. Banks. It's the writer of Mary Poppins. No one realized it was a woman.
Yeah.
Because she took on her dad's name. Her dad is Mr. Banks. So the movie is really about her childhood, and Walt Disney's thrown in how she became who she is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it is phenomenal. And I guess the Sherman brothers who wrote the music for Mary Poppins, they were alive when this movie was made. And when Tom Hanks walked in as Walt Disney, they said, holy shit, Walt Disney just walked in the room. And I guess they burst into tears. Like, because Walt never said good job. He always says, that'll do. And that's you did it.
That'll do.
That'll do. He never said great job, never to anyone ever. He was like, that'll do. Because he was a perfectionist. So,
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, this movie is emotional, but the end of it is so good.
So,
Oh, there's Calvin.
Yeah.
Forgot he was even here.
you're welcome. One of the three writers on this movie was the director, and then you had Frances Goodrich and Albert Hackett.
Okay.
And Frances Goodrich and Albert Hackett were both married, and they were married for 53 years until she died. But it was a husband and wife couple that write
That's
the
awesome.
screenplay for this movie too. So.
That's awesome.
And I feel like you can kind of feel that throughout the movie as well.
So Calvin and I always talk about, because I'm always educating Calvin, what the female gaze is. Because Calvin is always surprised when he will name celebrities, and I'm like, no, women don't find that guy attractive. And he's always surprised, but I feel like you could definitely do that with this movie. I feel like George Bailey would definitely be in the female gaze, because let's be honest, it does not matter that he doesn't have muscles, he's not ripped, anything like that. To females, we're like, oh shit, you love your family.
He's a genuine human being.
Yes, you're selfless, you're generous, you put others before yourself, you're funny.
He's smart.
Yes.
Extremely smart.
Not afraid to take chances, you jump in when you're needed.
Supports
you don't
everyone
have to
around
be
him.
asked.
Yeah.
Puts
Like,
himself last.
oh my
In
god.
every situation.
And when he loses his mind, everyone knows.
Thumbs up.
Well, the whole
Yeah.
town helped him, because when does he ever go
he's
crazy?
George friggin' Bailey.
Right.
Wasn't afraid to cry in front of his kids.
Yeah.
Showed them what
It's okay to
it was okay to have emotions
kind
and
of,
He's a
but I'm going to
pioneer.
go off myself.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah.
pioneer.
Yeah.
but then same thing. He
James.
was thinking, I already know what's gonna happen.
The whole unaliving himself, I hate that, by the way,
I don't think
was all practical.
Yeah.
It had absolutely nothing to do with him trying to get out from
He didn't
the
want to do it.
consequences.
It was-
It was,
exactly.
I can do this to fix
yeah.
and save the building
This
and
is
loaning.
because that's his character. How do I fix this?
Yeah.
I can't figure out how to fix this other than kill myself so that
Get the
Yeah.
insurance
they
money and
will
save
get the
it.
money to
Save
be
my
able to-
family,
yeah.
save the building and loans,
Right.
save the town.
good
Right.
old George
Thwart
was gonna
Potter
figure
yet
out a
again.
way to fix it.
Yeah.
His dying deed was going to be thwarting Potter yet again.
Yeah.
Oh, let's also remember another part of the female gaze. Any guy that's gonna walk down the street with you and sing with you, hell yeah.
Come on,
and then
Calvin.
say he's
Or
gonna
learn the Charleston.
yeah, and then say he's gonna give you the moon.
Everybody
hell
learned
yeah.
the Charleston.
You don't know.
You want the
Charleston.
moon?
You don't know the
George is a
Charleston?
You don't know
babe.
the Charleston.
Whoa.
Back then they did.
You want the
so
moon,
real
Chelsea?
quick,
I'll get you the
I
moon.
looked up movies with happy endings. I mean, it's pretty good. So Good Will Hunting has a happy
Yep.
ending. Shawshank Redemption has
Greatest
a happy
happy
ending. Rudy
Yep.
has a happy ending.
Sorry.
I'm not a Rudy person.
Slumdog Millionaire is on the
Oh
list.
my God, I love Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah.
That's a long movie, though. Like, it's real
That's
long.
Raising Arizona. I love that so much.
I can't wait
Old
to
Nick
review
Cage.
Chef is on here.
Yep.
Yeah. Princess Bride, Forrest Gump, Bicentennial Man.
They're all classics.
Yeah.
Centennial Man, that was such a terrible.
How do you like them apples?
The list is not. Ooh, We Bought a Zoo. I like that movie. That's a very underrated.
Well,
movie,
you
in my
notice the
opinion.
majority of those movies on that list, they are all movies that we've watched over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
They're timeless. There's a reason why they have such a cult following, and it's similar to this, where it makes you feel good. You've walked away with a lesson. You look at your life a little different than you did
It's a
before
life
watching
lesson.
it.
Yeah, they're life lesson movies.
And also, a couple of those have Matt Damon in it, so.
Yeah, that's not the
That's the key.
Was it
You know, The Martian.
Matt Damon?
Another happy ending.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
I love The Martian. Well,
Team America.
All right.
Okay, our ratings are as followed. If you haven't gotten it now, you haven't been paying attention. So it's S through F. S is perfect. We can't find any flaws. We currently have 4 S tier movies. We have
and what a motley crew it
what a
is.
motley crew it is. Jaws, The Exorcist, way back in our new edition.
Elf.
So then we have A, which is an excellent movie, maybe one minor flaw. B, it's an excellent movie, probably got a few flaws here and there. C, your average movie. D, a piece of crap, maybe 1 or 2 redeeming qualities. And then F, which is total garbage. You never want to watch them again. And we've only had 2 of those, and we won't mention them today.
I've already mentioned one of them.
So, having that in mind, David, what do you give It's a Wonderful Life?
I'm Freddie Mercury's son.
He just pulled the microphone off the.
The whole stand.
Yeah.
So let's see here. This is a really hard one. I've thought about this since Monday when I really sat down and watched this movie again. I love the story. I love the acting. I think that you mentioned it, editing.
Yeah.
I don't think the editing really got me on this movie. It never bothered me, right?
Me either.
Right.
I mean, this is not like a. This is not like a.
noticed.
Right, you noticed it, but this is not a cinematography movie,
No.
right? This is like sets, and the fact that they built these sets that are blocks long. They built a city for it.
Right.
I really can't find many flaws in this movie. I would say the only flaw is I don't think I could watch this movie over and over again.
No.
To where Elf I could watch way back. I have. You know what I mean? Jaws I've seen countless times. This is one that I think is probably once a year for me at the most.
Yeah.
And maybe once every 2 years for me. I know. It's not one of those for me. So I think I have to give it an A+. I don't think I can give it an S.
All right.
I love it with all of my heart. I just don't think for me, it's not one of those movies.
Right.
That's it. I murdered Chelsea.
Yeah.
Why don't you just go next?
Okay, I'll go next.
Maybe you can.
I'm trying to think. I was thinking about it too, and I was like, well, I don't want to just outright give it the highest rating even though it's just my favorite movie. Like, I want to put more thought into it and actually consider like what someone might see flaws in it. But that's hard too, because it's
Let me just interject real quick. The Goonies is probably my favorite movie, and I don't think it's an S tier movie.
yeah.
Because it's my favorite movie.
It's hard to be unbiased when something is your favorite movie.
Doesn't mean it's an S tier movie.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's
just,
exactly what was going through my head.
Right.
Was I personally, yes, I would give it an S, but I can also see where someone might see some flaws, where they might be, "Whoa, what's going on there?
Yeah.
What's going on there?"
I think the biggest thing is that it's just not a super rewatchable movie.
Yeah.
Where Elf, if it's on, I'm watching it. Like, I'm watching that movie. Right. It's a Wonderful Life. I can maybe have it in the background, but I'm not going to just sit and watch It's a Wonderful Life all the time.
Yeah.
I know.
I feel like I
only
but
time-
you could.
The only
Yeah,
time
that's
I
the
would,
difference
I would
between you and
I'm
I.
going to sit and watch It's a Wonderful Life. It's Christmas morning, and I've got 2 hours before I've got to go and do anything, and we're snowed in, and it's cozy in the house.
You can give this movie an S. It's okay.
I feel like
it's not,
I'm gonna
we're not
walk-
judging you for giving.
I'm going to talk myself through this. Okay. So, number one, I I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
And I love everything that he's
Harvey.
in.
Who's that?
James.
Oh,
James.
Proper name.
I'm a huge fan of his. I love everything that he's been in, that I watched him constantly when I was a kid. So there's that. There's that nostalgia. And then there's also that I love happy endings. I'm always going to love happy endings.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite kind of movies. There's one of my favorite scenes is when he and Mary are walking down the street and he offers to lasso the moon for her. Like, I freaking love it so much. I love, watching their little romance bloom. But I can also understand it is a Christmas movie. Even though you can watch it when it's not Christmas, but when you've got big companies that have made it to where you are going to think of it during Christmas time, it's hard to take that stereotype away from it. So I agree with your assessment of the A+. It's not something that I would probably watch over and over and over again, but when I do watch it, it's incredibly special to me.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think I'll give it an A+.
Calvin's like S.
Next.
Also, just to interject real quick, we never talked about his uncle having all the animals. We talked about it earlier, I think, but I love the crow and I love the squirrel. Just the random squirrel he had when he puts his head down because he knows he blew it and the squirrel crawls up him. And they never mention it. They never bring it up in the movie at all.
No, because
It's commonplace.
yeah, you should just know that he's got all those animals.
I mean, I do. But I just love that it's never mentioned.
Right.
All right,
Never
Calvin.
explained.
Into a Wonderful Life is a really good movie. I don't think that I'd be able to give it an S, though, as well. I think that the parts that I do remember... Listen, I love a slow burn, and this is exactly what this movie is. It is a slow burn. You're building up through...
Dynamite.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the way up through to this huge payoff. I love that, but at the same time, it's not as memorable throughout the rest of the movie, where if Chelsea's in the other room watching it, and I'm like, oh yeah, It's a Wonderful Life's on, I'm not gonna just come in and sit down like you guys were saying. When George Bailey is sitting, doing whatever, I might sit down for like a scene, but I'm not gonna sit down and watch the entire movie where I would with some of these S tier movies that we have put down for.
This movie really could be 30 minutes shorter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It could be. And then it might be an S tier. It might be a rewatchable
Could
movie,
be.
but it is long.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my only minor critique of the movie is the length of the movie. I'm going to say A+ as well, though.
I'm going to go A+, and that's being kind of generous. It's too long for me.
Yeah.
There was parts in that movie I didn't remember because
I agree.
It was like the middle part of the movie. I'm like, I don't remember this.
I don't remember when the war stuff happens.
No,
And
I
did not remember that. I didn't
that was
either.
all a blank. I
Yeah.
didn't know, but I remember getting to. I'm like watching it. I'm like, when is Clarence gonna make this guy not be born?
Yeah.
When are we gonna get to that? I was like, it's got to be coming soon.
1
right?
hour and 50 minutes. Sir.
Right? I was like, good Lord, it's taking forever. And I did notice some kind of choppy editing where it just kind of threw me off. I don't know. It's usually not a big deal, but it was really kind of blatant.
I remember what you're talking about because there was one
it was with
scene.
Potter.
Yeah, there was one scene that it was like pop, pop, pop. It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I
did
noticed
notice it.
If I notice it,
But I
then
couldn't even tell you
If
what
I
it was
can
in the
notice
movie.
your edit, then it's probably not a good edit.
Yeah.
Having said that, you can't beat Jimmy Stewart. It's a great story. It's a great feeling. Everybody else, the ensemble of the cast, supported him tremendously well. The sets were great. It's just a great, timeless movie that everybody should watch. I just can't give it an S. A+.
I think I'm the same as well. It was too long, and I don't remember it being that long, but it's still a great movie, and I'm not going to really go any lower, so A+.
All right. So
A+
we're
it
all in
is.
agreement. Unanimous A+.
Yeah. I'm
Sounds
surprised by
shy.
that. I thought there were going to be S's in there.
Yeah.
I mean, because everyone has to be
I
an S
think
for it to be an S.
Yep.
If I had to go back, my gut instinct is like, no, you want to give it an S. But
Yeah.
also, I have to understand of that bias of, oh, I love this movie so much and it's one of my favorite movies. But there's a lot of parts where it's, that scene, they didn't really need to have that.
Right.
And they could have cut the time on this, and maybe we didn't need that. So it's just understanding. If you're going to give a movie an S, it needs to be all the components are, reaching that highest level. And not just simply because, oh, I just love this movie
Every
so much.
S movie we've really talked about. It's hard. It's hard to give a movie an S
It is.
unanimously.
It is.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
It is.
And our list is so strange, but really, if you go to those movies
Yeah.
and try to find a flaw all in the movie. It's nearly impossible. Yeah,
everything needs to be on point. And with this movie, for me,
good endings. The way back. It has a very happy ending.
Great ending.
Yeah.
For this movie, for me, it's what really is the driving force for me as well. It's the story.
Yeah.
So, but also like the camera work and the directing
the
and all
dialogue
that needs to be
great.
just up there as well.
So good.
Jimmy Stewart just delivers lines like nobody's freaking business.
Yeah.
And again, it comes off as ad-libbed because it's so natural for him.
Oh my gosh.
His quick wit.
I love him.
And his style.
Calvin never watched it, but did you ever watch Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Calvin never saw that movie, but I talk about it all the time where I'm like, he is so funny. Like when he picks the phone up and he's talking, like the two ladies are already having the conversation. His delivery is amazing.
It's a good movie.
His comedy, I love him. Like his comedic delivery is insane.
Really good.
I just completely interrupted you. I'm so sorry.
I'm all right. I do it all the time.
Any chance to talk about Mr. Hobbs Takes a Vacation?
I just he delivers lines so naturally.
Yeah.
And it's so quick-witted and smooth.
Yeah.
You see this facade of the bumpkin of Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
You think he's just, your average schmuck.
Yeah.
And
he thinks he is.
But
That's
he's
the thing.
probably one of the smartest people in the room.
Yeah, but he thinks he is the average
if
guy.
you notice in one of the later scenes, right before he goes on his bender, he's got that bridge, that model sitting on his desk that he built. He designed that all himself.
Yeah.
With no schooling whatsoever.
Right.
Did all of that. Obviously one of the smartest people in the room.
Right.
And you never know it because of how he carries himself
Yeah.
and how he treats everybody else.
Yep.
And it just George Bailey's character, the character George Bailey, is just
a rare character.
a very
can't
rare.
beat
He is
the man.
an original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. So A+.
A+.
Absolutely.
I'm good
Yeah.
with it.
Thank you,
guys.
ladies, very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Annie, one more and you get your jacket.
Hey.
5-timer.
5-timer.
And just wanted to say a very Merry Christmas to everybody.
Yeah.
Because that's when this is going to be releasing.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Sweet.
So,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bedford Falls.
No, Pottersville.
Yeah,
Building and loan.
Yo, building and loan you.
Oi, oi.
Hello and welcome to Postcast. While the audio is kind of rough, we enjoyed our holiday celebrations and hope you do as well. A few things is that yes, Lee was correct this time, and Carl Alfalfa Schweitzer did have an uncredited role in It's a Wonderful Life as a student at the dance. Frank Capra also worked on some of the series Our Gang, better known as the Little Rascals shorts, with him. The pool basketball court for Bedford Falls High School is actually located in Beverly Hills High School, which was built in 1939 and still in use today. I wanted to say thank you to all our loyal and new listeners. Shout out to all our new listeners and subscribers. Thanks for helping us and supporting us on this journey. We invite you all to check out our Facebook group or check out our Reddit sub. Be sure to tell us in the comments what you think the movie should be rated or what movie we should record next. And be sure to follow us wherever podcasts are found. Join us and get caught up on our next Attack on Anime episode as we cover Season 2 of Attack on Titan, episodes 26 through 29, coming this Thursday, December 26th. Also, check out our final Christmas movie review, Monday, December 30th, as we top it off with Trading Places. We hope you've enjoyed our program just as much as we did recording for you. Thank you, and stay tuned for our next episode.